Almost worked.
Our speaker today is Chris Bailey, president of LCC. Chris has been at LCC starting his 5th year. Grew up in Chehalis. He's been in Southwest Washington pretty much his whole career, except for the time he spent up at the University of Washington and so on. Anyway, I noticed his file says tickler file that he brought to use to speak today, so obviously he's in the right place. I have this introduction that George Rader was kind enough to type. I can take 20 minutes to read it to you, or if you prefer, we can hear from our speaker. Okay. So please welcome President of LCC, Chris Bailey.
Thank you, Phil, President Russ, and the group. This is a lively group. Kind of scary. Is there a package? Hey, today actually is my 4th anniversary at LCC, and so and I got to say it's been a great year to be a Red Devil. So what I want to do first of all is find out how many of you have been on the campus recently, like in the last couple of months. Can we see a show of hands? Yeah, of course it does. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? And for those of you who haven't been there, I'd urge you to go a couple of blocks, because today faculty's gone, the students are gone, it's pretty quiet. You can take a nice walk and see some of the nice new facilities that we have, and we're really proud of that. To look at our facilities right now, we did add, in the fall, we went online with our health and science building, 69,000 square foot, state-of-the-art building, as good as any at the University of Washington, I might even add. And in addition to that, we were able to get an Economic Development Administration grant for almost $2 million in brand new science equipment for that building. So I urge you to come by, and I'll tell you what, I'll even give you a personal tour if you want to come by and take a look. Figure about 45 minutes for that. That was in the fall. Then in the winter, we took the 1950s Rockies gym without the meat hanging in there, and we converted it into a brand new gym facility. We added 13,000 square feet, including a brand new fitness center that the students paid for, partially, along with a matching grant from the legislature. And it is fantastic, and it's got some great community space upstairs as well. And then in the spring, we actually built a brand new outdoor pavilion. And that's so that our students can have their events outside in our lovely weather that we normally have and haven't had in a little while. So that's our facilities, and we're really proud of those facilities. I think they really have made a difference. And they're a sign about what's happening in Cowlitz County and some of the good things that are happening. I think they're a physical sign of some positive change going on in the county right now. 2 other quick programs I want to talk about. One is our international program. When I got here 4 years ago, we had 2 international students. And we decided it was a pretty good goal to try to increase our international student programs for a variety of reasons. Number one, we lost a lot of revenue from the legislature, and we needed to make that up. And so one way is to look at the other 7 billion people out there in the universe and see if we could bring them in. We also thought it would bring some global perspective. And if you think about it, we have the 3rd largest port in the state of Washington, behind Seattle and Tacoma. So it makes sense that we want to make sure that our students get a global view, a world view. And the best way to do that is to bring people to us here. And they're also going to bring some money and economic development to our area. So we went from 2 4 years ago, and I'm pleased to announce that in the fall we have 20 students, and we're going to try to work towards 70. 20 students currently enrolled, and they're all housed, thank goodness, because that's been an issue. And I want to tell you, if you're interested in housing an international student, the students pay $500 a month to the host families, and it gives them the opportunity to get acclimated and to feel comfortable and to get accustomed to our way of life. And so it's a really great program if you're interested in that. We also do a summer program through a Japanese university, Atomi. It's a women's 4-year school, and that's a 3-week session. And so we had 6 last year. We expect 20 this year. It was a very well-received short-term program. So if you want to just try it out and have some students for 3 weeks, it's a great way to get to know somebody on the other side of the lake, so to speak. The other thing I wanted to talk about and highlight was our university center. 4 years ago, we had one 4-year program. It was through CityU, and it was education. So if you wanted to be a teacher, you could stay right here. But other than that, you had to go. And as many of you know, we have one of the oldest demographics in terms of students. Our average age is 29. So most of our students have families and they have work obligations. And so for them to go 80-mile round trip to WSU Vancouver isn't very convenient. And they got to go an hour and 10 one way and the other direction via Gooey Duck.
Yay!
I knew he'd get it. And so we decided to create a university
That was a
center
little slow.
so that people don't have to go away and they can get their educational attainment right here without leaving home. And I am pleased to announce that as of today, we have 10 undergraduate programs from 4 different university partners and 2 brand new master's programs. Eastern Washington University just started a master's in business administration right here on our campus. And Warner Pacific University started a master's in organizational leadership. So 12 programs. We're pretty LCC proud about that.
All right.
As I said, year 4 was a good one for us at LCC. It started off with some national recognitions that we're really proud of. First of all, we got a White House invitation at the start of this last academic year. Only 13 colleges in the nation got invited, and one of them was Lower Columbia College. At first, when I got the email, I thought it was one of those spam emails to get my address information. And we were afraid to respond, but it turned out it was a legitimate invite, and it was for the work that we do in getting students college ready. So national recognition, one of 13 community colleges throughout the United States invited, and that was last August. About 2 months later, we received another award from the Achieving the Dream Foundation, which is a large community college organization about student success, trying to get students to the end game, which is getting them completed, get them to a degree to where we add value to their lives. And we were one of 16 colleges chosen in the entire United States, and only year 3, and you have to have 3 years of data. So in our first eligible year, we were selected to be a leader college in the United States. And so we're really proud of that. And then for those of you less academically inclined, we also received the number 10 ranking in the United States for JC in baseball. We're pretty proud of that too. Go Devils.
And the women's soccer team won a game.
They won a game? Yeah. Yes, they did. Their opener.
Did you play, Hal?
Huh?
Did you play?
Yeah, no.
I told them I have 2 years of eligibility, but nobody's interested. And so today on my 4-year anniversary, I woke up this morning and I got a note from a president out of Seattle. And he said, "Did you see this?" And I said, "No." And it was a national online service. They do kind of a consumer report. They're called Wallet Hub. I don't know if you've heard them. But they ranked the top community colleges in the United States and also the systems. And Washington came in number 4 overall in terms of its community college system. We're really proud of our system. Guess who the number 1 ranked community college in the state of Washington was? LCC. And we were ranked number 22 in the nation. So we have a lot to be proud about here in Longview and Cowlitz County. We are a community on the rise, and I will remain forever LCC proud. It's a great day to be a Red Devil. Thanks. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Chris. Is there any plan to increase the capacity in students in the nursing program?
Not at the current time. What we ended up doing, essentially we did add a cohort a few years back to where we have about 200 applicants every quarter for about 40 slots. But we have a rolling enrollment so that we add 40 new students every quarter. And then there's one time each year that we actually add a second cohort. So we're pretty much at our maximum capacity right now, but one of the things we did add was a cohort in the 4-year program, the Bachelor of Science in Nursing, with Washington State University, one of our partners, And so we got a 4-year nursing program right here at Lower Columbia College. Question?
A year or two ago, there was information in the paper about a developer who would come in and possibly build apartments across from Columbia Theater or something.
Correct.
It's dead or?
It's dead. Yeah, initially what we were looking at is to try to get some properties, or they were trying to get some properties across from Columbia Theater with the idea that we would do a development that was going to be mixed retail, there'd probably be restaurants, and then we were going to get the second floor. And we actually got approval from the legislature to kind of condominiumize the second floor. It would have been student housing. But they couldn't get the price low enough to make the purchase, and they couldn't fund the additional floor, so we had to drop it. So what we did, because we had a need for housing, is we actually purchased an apartment complex across the street from the baseball fields. And as people leave there, we're remodeling those 1 unit at a time, and we're placing international students in there. And we actually made about $40,000 net rent last year, in addition to being able to recruit students in our international program. When there's vacancies in there, it gives us an opportunity to place our athletes who come from other areas, because it's very difficult to find housing, and it's one of the issues we really have in this community. We have about a 95% occupancy rate. And when we were looking for places for students, we found difficulty in it. It may be that we're going to be in the need to buy additional apartment units as we continue to grow. Good question.
There was discussion with the old movie theaters, the Regal Cinema. Has anything been done in that regard?
Not at this time. Our master plan we've been developing. With the additional space, we're probably good in the short term. However, we could see some options down the road, and that would be a natural place to go. And so we've looked at it. It's just that it's probably not, with cash flow and everything right now, where we probably want to go in the short term. It's a great property. We could see over time a university center developing off campus as it grows, and that might be a good spot for it, other places like that. But good question. Question?
Well, I guess, obviously, when you did that new parking lot, that was direly needed. But how many units of housing did that take out? Was it about 250, something like that?
Yeah, that all came down right before I got here, but I think it was probably around 250. So it did take out some housing, and like I said, we've had difficulty. One of the issues we've been talking about from an economic development standpoint is, what do we do if new industry does come and we don't have a place to put them? So we're actually discussing the idea of economic development housing. Not low income, but for the next level, for the construction worker and for the individuals who will come and be employed here. We want to keep them here. We'd like to keep the money in the community.
But the parking problem still exists, doesn't it?
It does, although in terms of community colleges, we have one of the best ratios in the state. Now, when you go to Shoreline, sometimes you don't get a parking spot at all, and the same is true at South Puget Sound. For us, it means sometimes that you have to travel more than 2 blocks, and that's a problem for some people. Question?
I was just wondering, has there been any discussion about getting a 4-year accreditation for Lower Columbia?
We looked at that model because you can, community college, we have to change the law. We have to statutorily get removed from the community college system to do that. That's a long walk. We can offer 4-year programs ourselves. And in fact, when I was at Centralia, one of my last things to do was I created a 4-year business management program for Centralia College. I was one of the ones instrumental in getting that going. We opted instead to go to the 4-year model because we have a broad base. We do Head Start, early Head Start. I mean, we're cradle to grave, and our mission's really big. And we thought, would it be better for our students if we bring in the experts to do the 3rd and 4th year? So Eastern Washington University, WSU, City University, let them do the work that they do best, and let us continue to do the work we do best. The other thing is, we think it's beneficial. If you were to get a Lower Columbia college degree, it might not mean as much nationally. They would know who we were because we're so small. Whereas anyone that would know an Eastern Washington University or WSU degree. So we think it's actually more beneficial to go with a university center model. Also in Centralia, they didn't have enough critical mass to draw the big universities. We did. There's 7 counties around us who have low degree attainment. So we can actually become a regional center for education in the 4 years. We just want to continue to grow that.
your efforts to have international students attend, some statistics on that, please.
Yeah, what we're looking for is, we're going to end up with probably around 70, we think is a sweet spot, which would be about 1% of our total head count. We have about 7,000 students, we think 70 would be a nice mix. We don't want the tail to wag the dog. We don't want international programs to become such a large part of what we do that it takes away from our community service. We want to add value through providing kind of that global touch and also some additional revenue. That would bring about $650,000 in additional revenue to us, which would be really helpful in serving our students in the current environment. So that's kind of the sweet spot we're looking for, is about 1%. There are schools, there's one up in Green River, they're a third of their population. They have 2,000 international students. We don't want to do that. That's not where what we're aiming for. Does that help?
What numbers are we talking about now?
Currently, we have 20. About 2/3 of them are from China, so we're really focusing on trying to diversify a little bit. We initially wanted to partner with Asian countries so that we could have economic development ties too, to help with our relationships with the port. But we're also going to be looking at more English-speaking countries over this next year, and we're going to try to diversify that. I think I had one back there. Yes.
With the retirement of Don Correll in the theater department, and Dan Chabot going to Fighting Smelt, going to Texas, how are the arts looking for the coming year?
I think we got a really good hire in Betsy, but you know, when you lose somebody like that, it's really tough. In terms of the Fighting Smelt, nationally celebrated and ranked team, you know, I think they were the best community college in the United States last year. Definitely going to miss a little there, but we have Leah Moore, who is stepping in. She's been kind of working with that program for several years, so that's going to be a big plus. And you know, when you lose Dawn, you lose Dawn. But we did have a national search. We had a phenomenal pool. We had 98 national applicants for Dawn's position because of our facilities and how great they are, and we really got a good one. So I really feel like we're going to be in good hands there. Clear in the back.
Have you ever thought of going to the University of Oslo, because a lot of people here are Scandinavians and looking at the gun, and right now Norway ranks #1 for economics and education?
Yeah, we're going to be going in that direction this year. So one of the things we're going to go is to an agent fair and try to connect in that way. Okay?
Yeah, one more.
One last question.
Right here.
Oh, yeah, you look like the last one.
Well, that's the way it goes.
He said cradle to grave.
Also, I was just wondering how the girls' softball team is going to do this.
Oh, you betcha. They're going to be solid. I think all of our athletic programs look really solid this year. Our soccer team is much improved. You know, we had that 3-year hiatus, and that hurt us a little bit in terms of recruiting. I would expect the men's team is going to be nationally ranked again in baseball. I think the softball team is going to be extremely competitive. Both the men and women's basketball teams look great. They're loaded. They don't have the superstars, but they have like better than average talent, really deep at every position. And like I say, at the volleyball team, I watched them play against Multnomah this Saturday. They play tonight, by the way, against Pacific University, and they looked really good. They swept them. So let's hear it for our Red Devils. Let's one. Yeah.
Thank you. Just a second. Would you be willing to hang around for a little bit?
Oh, you betcha.
To answer any additional questions?
You bet.
All right, and also would like to give you a Pioneer Lion mug and an application if you consider joining us.
You can keep the mug either
You
way.
can keep the mug either way. So, thanks very much.
So hang good tonight? Yep. I love you.